We're going to start our last final of the day. First diver on the board for Carlo Di Biasi, Claudia Canta. She's going to make a forward 1.5 somersaults with 1 twist in a free position.
Welcome to Central Bay.
7, 6, 6, 6, 6. For Vilnius Diving Club, Vita Slajute, forward 2.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 5.5, 5, 6, 6. Ise Seval Erzincan for Turkish diving team. Inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 7, 5.5, 6, 6.5. Voor Wasserspringerclub Rostock, Magdalene Schulz. Inward 1.5 somersaults with tuck. Seven, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Voor Wasserspringerclub Rostock, Felicitas Bonk, forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Five, 5.5, 5, 4.5. For City of Sheffield Diving Club, Katie Garner, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6. For Vilnius Diving Club, Urte Vallesaite, forward 2.5 somersaults, piked. Two and a half, 3.5, 3.5, 4, 3. For the Turkish diving team, Sude Koprulu, back somersaults with 1.5 twists in a free position.
Okay, here's the beat.
6, 6, 6, 5.5, 6.5. For the Hungarian national team, Emma Weiss, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 7, 6, 7, 7.5. For Fiamma Oro, Georgia De Sanctis, forward 1.5 somersaults with 1 twist in free position. Six, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5. For Carlo Di Biasi, Rebecca Ciancalini, forward 1.5 somersaults with 1 twist in a free position. Seven and a half, 7, 7, 7.5, 7. Voor PSV Schoonspringen, Manu Meulenbeek. Forward 2.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 7.5, 7, 7. Round 2. Claudia, forward 2.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 6, 6, 6.5, 5.5. Felicita. Inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Five, 4.5, 4, 4.5, 4.5. Ace, forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Six and a half, 5.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5. Magdalene, forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Five, 4.5, 5, 4, 4.5. Felicitas, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six, 7, 7, 6, 6.5. Katie, reverse 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 7, 7.5, 7, 6. Urte, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 7.5, 7, 7, 7.5. Sude, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 7, 6 and a half. Emma, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 6, 6, 6, 6 and a half. Georgia, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 7, 7, 7, 6 and a half. Rebecca, forward 2.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 7, 7. Manu, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 7, 7 and a half, 7, 7 and a half.
Let's show the world a burning light that never shines so bright. We'll find a way to keep the cold night.
Round 3. Claudia, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Five, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5. Vita, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Five and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 5 and a half, 5. Ace, back 1.5 somersaults with tuck. Six, 5.5, 6, 5, 5.5. Magdalene, reverse 1.5 somersaults with tuck.
I've been everywhere, looking for someone who can please me, love me all night long. I've been everywhere,
6.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5.
searching for you, babe. Where have you been? 'Cause I never see you out. Are you hiding from me?
Felicitas, reverse 1.5 somersaults with tuck.
Bubbly, bubbly. Bubbly, bubbly. Set it! You see that girl with
4.5, 4, 4, 5, 4.5.
give me the bend over girl and give me the spit down to the ground seismic activity. Bend down me girl and give me the top wine girl and give me the body look fine girl, give me the coming out.
Katie, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Five and a half, 6, 6.5, 5.5, 6. Urte, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Four and a half, 4.5, 5.5, 4.5, 4. Sude, forward 2.5 somersaults, piked. Six, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5.5. Emma, reverse 1.5 somersaults, spiked.
I like a spell when we're wasted. It makes it easier. The only time we
6, 6, 6, 6, 6 and a half.
we're wasted. It makes it easier. Lay all your laundry on the bed, then I lay and stay. I like a spell when we're wasted.
Georgia, forward 2.5 somersaults, spiked. Six and a half, 6 and a half, 6, 7, 7. Rebecca, reverse 1.5 somersaults, spiked. Four and a half, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5. Manu, reverse 1.5 somersaults, spiked.
I got a hangover. Whoa, I've been drinking too much for sure. I got a hangover. Whoa, I got an empty cup.
4.5, 4, 4, 3.5, 3. Round 4. Claudia, inward 1.5 somersaults, spiked. Five, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 4.5. Vita, back 1.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists in a free position. Five and a half, 5, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5. Ace, reverse 1.5 somersaults with duck. 6, 6, 6 and a half, 6, 6.
We don't start at about 10 years ago.
Magdalene, back 1.5 somersaults, piked.
Let's Marvin Gaye and get it on. You got the healing that I want. Just like the
4.5, 4, 5, 5, 4.5.
Let's Marvin Gaye and get it on. We got this king size to ourselves. Don't have to share with no one else.
Felicitas. Inboard 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 7, 7, 7.5, 7. Katie, forward 1.5 somersaults with 2 twists in a free position. Five and a half, 6, 6 and a half, 6, 6 and a half. Urte, forward 1.5 somersaults with 1 twist in a free position. Six and a half, 7, 7, 7, 6 and a half. Suda, back 1.5 somersaults, piked. Five, 4.5, 6, 5, 5.5. Emma, forward 1.5 somersaults with 2 twists in a free position. Six and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6, 6.
We kissed, I fell under your spell, love. No one could deny.
Georgia. Back 1.5 somersaults, piked.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break.
4, 4, 3.5, 5, 4.
You let me. I put you high up in the sky, and now you're not coming down.
Rebecca. Inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six, 6.5, 6, 7, 7.
My feet stamping on the floor, your sweat dripping off the wall. We move and our bodies talking night. Doing my friends on come on, we
Manu. Inward 1.5 somersaults, piked.
I'm a scat man.
6.5, 6.5, 7, 7, 6.5. This was the last dive in this competition. Thank you, judges. Thank you, secretaries. We're going to have our medal ceremonies as soon as possible.